The silence of space shattered as a shadow crept across Earth's orbit. Thousands of glinting ships, angular and alien, emerged from the black, their formation precise, deliberate. From the command deck of the Orbital Defense Station, Captain Leena Marquez leaned over the holographic display, her jaw tight, eyes scanning the data streaming in. "Status report," she barked. Lieutenant Rami, a wiry engineer with a knack for unconventional tactics, pointed at the display. "Outer perimeter sensors detect a fleet massing near Neptune's orbit. Their ships, fast, but heavily armored. Estimated numbers, 30,000. Leena's lips pressed into a thin line. 30,000. The Alien Council had made a mistake. They had underestimated humans before, and she intended to exploit it again. 30,000? Muttered Admiral Chin, standing stiffly behind her. "They've crossed half the galaxy. Surely they're beyond negotiation. We can't hold that many ships." Leena didn't respond immediately. She studied the projection. Patterns emerged: wing clusters, vanguard detachments, a central command nexus. Each movement was deliberate, arrogant. "We don't have to hold them," she said finally, her voice cold and measured. "We have to outsmart them." Chin raised an eyebrow. "Outsmart 30,000 ships?" "Yes," Leena said. "And we'll start by making them think we're weaker than we are." Half a world below, in the United Nations War Council chamber, politicians argued over Earth's readiness. Screens displayed the alien armada's slow crawl toward the solar system. "This is an overreaction," one delegate insisted, tapping a data pad. "We've handled minor incursions before. These are exploratory fleets. They won't attack. They're already in orbit," a younger officer shot back. "Exploratory or not, they have enough firepower to annihilate half our cities before breakfast." A heated debate ensued, but Leena had no time for politics. Her fleet, a patchwork of hastily retrofitted cruisers, volunteer pilots, and stealth drones, needed direction, and fast. Meanwhile, millions of kilometers away, the Alien Council convened aboard the flagship Dominion of Thal'Kor. The council chamber was vast, crystalline, and alien, echoing with the whispers of hundreds of species. High Arbiter Thal'Kor's 6 eyes swept over the assembly, each pupil narrowing. "Earth is insignificant," he said, his voice reverberating unnaturally. "Primitive. Fragile. We take it, and it is ours. There will be no resistance that matters." A counselor hissed in agreement, their translucent body flickering. "Shall we deploy the vanguard immediately, High Arbiter?" Thal'Kor's claws tapped against the armrest. "Yes. Show them the futility of defiance." Even in their arrogance, they did not know what awaited them. Back on Earth, Leena convened her officers in the orbital command hub. The air was tense, recycled oxygen thick with anticipation. She gestured to the hollow map of the approaching fleet. "Their patterns are predictable. They rely on brute force and coordination, assuming we will scatter." "We won't." Rami leaned forward. "We can use the asteroid belt as cover. A few magnetic disruptors and stealth drones, hit-and-run tactics. We might actually damage their vanguard before it reaches Earth." "Exactly," Leena said, a spark of grim satisfaction in her eyes. "Every ship we take down now buys us time for planetary defenses. But remember, this isn't about glory. This is survival. And the Council thinks survival is impossible for us." A pause hung in the air. Even the youngest cadets understood the stakes. "Captain," another officer said, "communications show minor alien scouts probing near Mars. They've detected our activity." Leena's jaw tightened. "Good. Let them see activity, but misread it. We want them arrogant. Overconfident." At that moment, the first warning blared. A vanguard of sleek, silver alien vessels darted past Neptune, their weapons glinting. The fleet's sheer scale was terrifying, but the humans held firm. Leena's fingers danced over the console, activating the station's hidden defenses. Pulses of energy streaked outward, invisible until they collided with alien hulls. The first salvo of human ingenuity struck, detonating against alien shields with a satisfying flare. The bridge erupted in controlled chaos. "Direct hit!" shouted Rami. "They didn't expect it." Leena didn't smile. She knew this was only the beginning. "Keep pressing. Make them pay for every inch." Above them, in the alien flagship, Thal'Kor's pupils widened. "Impossible," he hissed. "Their technology, it shouldn't exist." "Maybe they learned from others, High Arbiter," whispered a counselor. "Or perhaps they are clever." Thal'Kor's eyes blazed with fury. "Clever? No. Humans are primitive. They will break." But the Vanguard fleet, now battered and confused, signaled the first real taste of resistance they had encountered in decades. Back on Earth, Leena moved through the station like a conductor orchestrating chaos. Each decision was precise, each order deliberate. She directed drones, adjusted shield grids, and coordinated orbital strikes while monitoring civilian evacuation efforts below. Her mind was a machine of strategy and empathy. "Captain," Rami said, his voice tight, "some of our cruisers report alien boarding attempts on supply stations. Casualties are rising." Leena's expression hardened. "Then we escalate. Focus on disabling their key ships. The rest are distractions." She tapped the hologram. "Target their Vanguard command vessel. If we cripple it, the fleet will lose cohesion." Hours passed, though it felt like seconds. The humans fought with ingenuity rather than brute strength. Alien ships exploded in silent bursts, debris trailing against the stars. Leena watched the holographic feed, a mixture of dread and exhilaration twisting in her chest. Finally, a pause. The Vanguard had been repelled. Earth's orbital fleet had survived the initial assault, battered but intact. Humanity had proven, at least for a moment, that the Council's assumption of weakness was wrong. Leena allowed herself a quiet exhale. "This is just the beginning," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "They've underestimated us. And that will be their mistake." Outside the station, Earth rotated silently, oblivious to the shadow that had nearly fallen. The fight had begun, and humanity's resilience was already making history. The debris from the Vanguard clash still floated across the black of space when Captain Leena Marquez convened her officers. The orbital command hub smelled faintly of recycled air and burnt circuits, a reminder that their victory had come at a cost. Yet there was no time for celebration. The alien fleet remained enormous, and Thal'Kor would not forgive failure. Leena's gaze swept the room. "Every ship we lost was a lesson. Every hit we took exposes their weaknesses. That's what we'll exploit." Lieutenant Rami leaned forward, pointing at the holographic projection of the enemy fleet. "Their shields are strongest at the front, but lateral compartments are lightly reinforced. If we can flank them with stealth drones and magnetic disruptors, we can cripple the command vessels without risking our main fleet." "Good," Leena said, her voice precise, controlled. "I want 3 strike teams. 1 flanking from Mars' asteroid belt, 1 hitting their Vanguard directly, and 1 ready to intercept reinforcements from Neptune. Timing is everything. Miss the window, and we're toast." "Captain," Commander Alvi, the fleet's tactical officer, said cautiously, "these maneuvers are unprecedented. We're asking pilots to thread needles through fields of debris while avoiding fire from 30,000 ships. Casualties will be high." Leena's eyes did not waver. "Then let's make every casualty count. Humans aren't expendable, but clever strategy amplifies every effort. If they think we're reckless, they'll underestimate us again. That's when we strike." In the alien flagship, Thal'Kor's 6 eyes burned with fury. "The humans are persistent," he hissed. "Send reinforcements. Crush them before they learn to fight." A counselor protested. "High Arbiter, the Vanguard is still operational. Perhaps patience." Thal'Kor's voice cut through the chamber like a whip. "Patience is for the weak. I am beyond patience. They will learn quickly what it means to resist." Even in their arrogance, a ripple of doubt crept through the alien ranks. Clever humans had damaged ships they believed invulnerable. That notion alone was enough to unsettle a species accustomed to unquestioned dominance. Back in Earth orbit, Leena moved methodically among the stations and ships, her presence a steadying force. She visited the pilots, reviewing flight plans and demonstrating maneuvers on miniature holographic models. Her words were firm but calm. "Remember," she said to a young pilot gripping the controls of a stealth drone, "your role isn't glory. It's precision. You hit the lateral shield compartments, disrupt the command link, and get out. That's all. Focus, adapt, survive." The pilot nodded, eyes wide but determined. "Understood, Captain?" Leena patted the console lightly. "Good. That's how humanity survives, not by brute strength, but by being smarter, faster, and more adaptable." The first strike team, a squadron of drones and small cruisers, slipped through the asteroid belt. Tiny silhouettes danced between massive rocks, magnetic disruptors humming quietly. Sensors showed alien ships scanning for anomalies, but the humans were shadows, silent, precise, untouchable. "Approaching target," Rami's voice crackled over comms. "Engaging lateral shields." Energy pulses rippled outward, striking alien hulls with calculated force. Shields flared, sparks scattered, and then silence. The Vanguard command vessel trembled. A ripple of confusion spread through the fleet. "Excellent," Leena murmured. "Keep pressing. Hit, retreat, repeat. Let them feel the unpredictability of humans." Meanwhile, on Earth's surface, automated defense stations fired in tandem with orbital strikes. EMP bursts and plasma torpedoes forced alien ships to adapt constantly. Civilians below watched the faint glow of the orbital defense through augmented reality windows, a mixture of fear and awe reflecting in their eyes. Humanity was alive, fighting, and refusing to bow. Hours into the engagement, a crackle came over Leena's headset. "Captain," Commander Alvi's voice sounded tense. "We've detected alien reinforcements moving faster than expected. Thal'Kor must be sending his main strike team." Leena's jaw tightened. "Then it's time for Plan 3. All ships pivot to intercept. Use the asteroids for cover and draw them into the trap. Focus on disrupting communication arrays first, disable coordination, and they'll become manageable." The fleet moved like a living organism, every unit synchronized, responding to Leena's commands with near telepathic precision. Alien sensors failed to track the subtle shifts, mistaking them for random maneuvers. The humans struck unpredictably, weaving through debris, exploiting blind spots, and systematically weakening the enemy. In the alien flagship, Thal'Kor's pupils narrowed, each movement deliberate yet tinged with unease. "Impossible," he hissed. "Their fleet, so small yet coordinated. How do they anticipate our moves?" The counselors muttered amongst themselves, unease spreading. Their calculations had accounted for strength, speed, and firepower, but not human adaptability. Not human intuition. Back on the orbital command hub, Leena's face reflected the holomap's faint glow. "Casualties are rising," Rami said quietly. "But their command vessel is crippled. We've forced disarray in their ranks." Leena nodded. "Exactly. Now we consolidate. Every surviving ship must press forward. We hit weaknesses, exploit mistakes, and retreat before they can regroup. Let them underestimate us. That arrogance is our ally." A sudden alert flashed across the main console. An alien boarding pod breached the outer hull of a supply station near Mars. Leena's eyes sharpened. "Rami, deploy interceptors. Do not allow them to establish footholds. Any foothold they gain, we destroy." Minutes later, the pod exploded in a silent bloom of fire, its remnants drifting into the void. "Good work," Leena said, though she allowed herself only a fleeting glance of relief. "Every ship, every crew, every maneuver counts. Today we survived. Tomorrow, we strike again." By the end of the engagement, the alien vanguard was fractured. Some ships fled toward Neptune for reinforcements, others drifted, disabled, or destroyed. Earth's orbital fleet had sustained damage, but they had learned something invaluable. The Council had underestimated humanity, and that error could be exploited repeatedly. Leena stood at the command deck's observation window, eyes fixed on the damaged alien vessels. Stars twinkled indifferently, yet below her, Earth rotated, alive, defiant, and fighting back. She felt a surge of cautious optimism. Rami's voice broke the silence. "Captain, they won't expect us to hold our ground like this again." Leena smiled faintly, lips tight with determination. "Then we make them regret underestimating humans. We'll teach them patience and humility." Outside, the alien fleet regrouped, Thal'Kor's fury radiating across the command channels. But Earth had proven that cleverness, unity, and relentless resolve could turn the tide against even overwhelming force. The counterattack had succeeded, but the war was far from over. And Captain Leena Marquez knew exactly how she intended to fight the next move. The void above Earth shivered with tension. The alien fleet, regrouped and furious, advanced in tighter formations, their weapons bristling with lethal intent. Thal'Kor's anger radiated through the command channels, a palpable force even through the hum of human communications. Humanity's initial victories had bruised their pride, but the Council would not relent. Captain Leena Marquez stood on the command deck, her eyes scanning the holographic map. Each alien vessel's trajectory, shield strength, and velocity glimmered in meticulous detail. Her fleet, smaller, battered yet disciplined, waited like a predator. Every ship knew the stakes. Every pilot understood the risk. And yet morale was high. Humans had survived what was thought impossible. "Captain," Commander Alvey said, voice tight, "they're coordinating formations we haven't seen. They've learned from our previous tactics." Leena's eyes narrowed. "Good. Then we adapt faster. Divide their attention, force mistakes, and strike where they least expect it." She tapped a series of commands. "Deploy the decoy drones along the outer orbit. They'll think it's our main attack. Meanwhile, the real strike teams flank from the asteroid belt and the moons of Jupiter. Timing is everything." On board the alien flagship, Thal'Kor's 6 eyes scanned the battlefield. His vanguard was scattered, their cohesion disrupted. "These humans are irritating," he hissed. "Do not underestimate them again. Consolidate firepower on their central fleet." A counselor's voice quivered. "High Arbiter, if we commit too many ships, we risk overextension. Their maneuvers are unpredictable." Thal'Kor's claws clenched. "Predictable or not, they will break. They must. I will not tolerate defiance from vermin." Back on Earth's orbital command, Leena coordinated every move like a chess master. Hollow projections flickered as ships danced between stars, weaving through asteroid fields and planetary shadows. Energy pulses streaked through space as stealth drones struck alien shields at weak points identified in previous skirmishes. "Flank Team Alpha, engage lateral compartments of the flagship," she ordered. "Flank Team Beta, neutralize reinforcements from Neptune. Interceptors ready to intercept boarding pods near Mars." A young pilot's voice trembled slightly over comms. "Captain, we've never attempted maneuvers this precise in live combat." Leena's lips curved slightly. "Then make history. Humans have always thrived where others failed to imagine the impossible." The battle began in earnest. Alien vessels opened fire, bracing against flanking attacks, but the human fleet moved unpredictably, slipping through gaps, striking, and vanishing. Magnetic disruptors hummed through space, tearing at alien shields. EMP pulses cascaded over command nodes, scrambling communications. "Direct hit on flagship's lateral shield." Rami's voice crackled over comms. "They're losing control of their outer formation." "Good," Leena said, her tone calm but sharp. "Now push the pressure. No hesitation. Every strike must be decisive." On board the alien flagship, Thal'Kor's rage was palpable. "Focus on their command vessels," he barked. "Crush them before they rally." A counselor hesitated. "High Arbiter, their fleet is using decoys and splitting forces." "Silence!" Thal'Kor roared. "Do not question me." The humans had anticipated this arrogance. Leena had intentionally allowed decoys to bait the Council's attention. While Thal'Kor's forces converged on the outer layers, the main strike teams targeted the command vessels directly. Amid the chaos, Leena faced a personal decision. A section of the alien fleet threatened to breach the orbit of a major city below. Sacrifice a few ships to save civilians, or focus on crippling the flagship to end the battle decisively. She paused, breathing deeply. The choice was clear. Divert Interceptor Squadron to protect the city, she said firmly. All other units continue the strike. Minutes later, the skies above the city shimmered as human defense grids intercepted the aliens. Ships exploded in silent bursts, debris scattering harmlessly into space. Civilians below watched, terrified yet awestruck, as humanity's ingenuity held the line. The climax approached. Leena's strike teams had penetrated the alien flagship's defenses. Magnetic disruptors tore through core systems. EMP pulses scrambled internal communications. Alien ships faltered, spinning uncontrollably. Thal'Kor's eyes widened in disbelief. This cannot be, he hissed. Humans, how? They adapt, a counselor whispered. They learn. Faster than calculations can account for. The flagship trembled as critical systems failed. Alien commanders struggled to regain control, but the humans anticipated every counter-move. Leena's fleet circled like a predator, exploiting every weakness, punishing every mistake. Finally, the flagship faltered. Its hull ruptured, and engines failed. Thal'Kor's fury boiled over, but even he could not prevent the inevitable. Retreat signals were sent. Alien ships fled, disorganized and battered, leaving only scattered vanguards and wreckage in their wake. Leena exhaled, shoulders tense but relieved. Her fleet had survived, humanity had triumphed, and the alien council's arrogance had been shattered. Captain, Rami said quietly, they're retreating. We did it. Leena's gaze stayed on the stars, scanning for any lingering threats. Not over yet. They'll regroup. They always do. But we've shown them something they didn't expect. Earth fights back. Humans adapt, improvise, survive. Down on the planet, humanity celebrated cautiously. Cities lit up with fireworks and relief, but beneath the joy was a sober acknowledgement. The council would return. They always returned. Leena moved through reports of surviving crews, ensuring repairs, organizing reinforcements, and preparing for the inevitable next strike. A young officer approached, holding a comm pad. Captain, the Council's communication channels are flooded with reports. They're stunned by our tactics. Thal'Kor didn't expect humans to coordinate like this. Leena allowed herself a faint, almost imperceptible smile. Then let's make sure they never do. In the alien flagship, Thal'Kor's pride was in tatters. His counselors murmured in disbelief. The humans, a species they had dismissed as insignificant, had outsmarted them, survived the impossible, and inflicted real damage. Next time, Thal'Kor hissed, voice low and dangerous. We will not fail. They will not survive our wrath. Yet the message was clear. The alien council had underestimated humanity. For the first time in centuries, their arrogance had been their undoing. Leena returned to the observation window of the orbital station, watching Earth rotate below. Oceans shimmered, cities glowed, and life continued. Humanity had faced annihilation and survived through ingenuity, courage, and unity. She whispered to herself, eyes fierce with determination. They thought we were weak. They were wrong. They always will be. Outside, the stars were silent witnesses. Humanity had fought, adapted, and won. The war was far from over, but for now, Earth had proven that no force, no matter how superior, could underestimate human resolve. And Captain Leena Marquez, standing amidst the hum of her fleet, knew one truth above all: the galaxy had underestimated Earth, at its peril.